This is Gary Salton, Chief of R&D and creator of IOPT Technology. Welcome to part 2 of the IOPT Communications video. Communication is, by definition, an information processing activity. It would be expected that IOPT would directly apply to communications, and it does. In fact, the name IOPT is an acronym. It stands for Input, Output, Processing, Template. This application to communication is not a forced fit. It is a natural integration. This table is the simplest tool that IOPT offers. It is available free of charge on the IOPT.com website. The table shows the communication preferences of each strategic style. Simply refer to the appropriate box and you will get some guidance. Now, simplification always involves sacrifice. The sacrifice here is that the table assumes that a single strategic style always dominates. This is not necessarily true. People come in degrees of commitment. You can misjudge. However, even with this shortfall, the table is a whole lot better than nothing. The IOPT snowflakes are the next step up. You can also get these for free at the IOPT.com website. Be sure to choose the ones labeled communication. This is a close-up look at one of the descriptors from a single axis of the style snowflake. All of the style and pattern descriptors will follow the same format. Notice that they are in 3 colors. Colors are used to indicate the phase of the process to which the comments apply. The black is the input element. It offers suggestions that can help you get your message accepted for processing. The process portion focuses on evaluation. It can help ensure that your message will be favorably addressed. Finally, the output element prepares you for the likely response. This will become your input for the next round of the exchange. If you know what's coming, you can prepare for it. This is an illustration of how you might apply the snowflake. First, make a transparency of a strategic profile from any of the IOPT reports. Overlay the transparency onto the snowflake. If the profile is pointy, you should use a style snowflake, the one on the left. The more a profile seems to point to a particular style, the more applicable is the style snowflake. If the profile is divided between 2 styles, the pattern snowflake, the one on the right, should be your choice. If you are unsure, use the pattern snowflake. To use this, just follow the arrow and read off the items on the diagonal pattern axis. You will get solid advice. Exactly the same approach can be used for a group. The main difference is that you have 3 different ways of looking at a group. The red area shows you the extremes. One person holding an extreme position is enough to move the red profile. While there are conditions where the red area will apply, most of the time the red profile will not be of a concern to you. This is the same team with a focus on the white consensus area. This is the area where every person in the group has a position, a kind of common denominator. In this case, the pointy white area would focus you on the logical processor or LP style. There are some good reasons you may not want to use this as a guide. First, it is a common denominator. It represents what people can tolerate, not what they want. You may get acceptance, but you are unlikely to get real commitment. Secondly, notice how small the white area is. Even if you know what is wanted, you still have to frame the subject matter in a way that makes sense to the group members. If you choose to use consensus strategies, be prepared for a long siege. Again, the same group. The gray area represents the decision space where a majority of the group has a position. The majority profile is not pointing to any particular style, so you look for a quadrant with the biggest footprint. In this case, it is the changer quadrant. So you use the pattern, the diagonals, as a guide. The gray majority area is the one you are likely to use most frequently. It will usually carry the day in a group setting. If you can get a majority to buy into your position, you automatically bring group pressure onto those who don't fully buy in. The IOPT snowflakes are a versatile tool. They are especially valuable in self-discovery exercises. Students can quickly grasp the basics, and they get immediate insights they can use in real life. It's a good tool, but not the only one. The IOPT communication deck is the next step up. It's designed to apply where significant matters are at stake. You know, things that can affect a life or career, a raise, a promotion, the approval of a major project, or the like. The deck is also useful in training. Students get a chance to apply a systematic strategy to the transactional processes outlined in Part 1. This slide shows a sample of the style and pattern cards drawn from the IOPT card deck. There is one card for each IOPT style and pattern. Notice the picture at the top of each card. It illustrates the kind of strategic profile to which that particular card applies. Like the Snowflake, the cards are arranged by input, process, output. In addition, each statement is categorized. For example, you will find attention span in the same position on every card. This makes comparisons between styles and patterns easier. It is a helpful little tool, even at this level. The reverse side of each style and pattern card is a cheat sheet. The category arrangement is the same as the front of the card. The difference is that the front of the card explains the position. The cheat sheet side offers specific advice. Obviously, only generalized direction can be offered in the space available, but it is a start. This is a worksheet card from the deck. It is used to assess a particular transaction. The front of the card is the worksheet. Its arrangement matches the style and pattern card decks exactly. The back of the card is a reference that defines the terms used on the front. Categorizations are always somewhat arbitrary. These definitions can help keep things on track. To use the worksheet, align the style or pattern cards with the green line just above the Outcome section. The sender card, the person requesting something, is put on the left. The receiver, the person from whom something is wanted, goes on the right. In this case, a hypothetical analyzer style, an HA, is planning a transaction exchange with someone using a changer pattern. Let's say our HA is going to be asking for a raise. The HA, our sender, goes down the list comparing their preferences with those of the receiving changer pattern. If there's a marked discrepancy, put a check mark in the appropriate box. This is a flag. If our HA goes on automatic, these are the items likely to trip them up. The interest of the receiver, our changer, can shift by subject, so the next step is to briefly outline them. Review the worksheet again. If the interest alert you to an item that might reflect on a sensitivity, check it. However, don't go overboard on the check marks. To be useful, you have to keep them at manageable levels. The next step is to outline an action item for each check mark. You are looking for a brief, to-the-point statement. Our HA is only looking for a guide to planning an approach, not the approach itself. This is an example of the kinds of things that might be included. Our HA is going to want to smile more than might seem natural. More animation, like arm gestures, should be used. Achievements will be ticked off rather than specified in detail. Scheduling only a 15-minute meeting will force our HA to be short and to the point. Finally, fill out the probable outcome for the receiver. Our HA is going to have to live with the changer over many more transactions. This helps to make sure that the atmosphere for those future transactions will be as favorable as possible. Using the IOPT Communications card deck will produce positive results, but it is neither quick nor easy. Use it where the transaction is of some importance. These situations don't happen every day, but when they do, the IOPT card deck can help ensure that your efforts will be successful. IOPT offers various communication tools. Together, the IOPT communication tools offer a mini-system. There's something for every level of need. I hope that you find these tools of value for yourself and for those you guide. Thank you for your interest in IOPT technology. You can learn more about IOPT as it applies to both individuals and groups by visiting our website at www.iopt.com or www.oeinstitute.org. Thank you again.